The Amanda Show is an American live-action sketch comedy and variety show created by Dan Schneider that aired on Nickelodeon from October 16, 1999 to September 21, 2002. It starred Amanda Bynes, Bell and Nancy Sullivan, and featured John Kassir, Raquel and Josh Peck. The show was a spin-off from All That, in which Bynes had co-starred for several years. The show was cancelled at the end of 2002. Writers for the show included Schneider, John Hoberg, Stephen Molaro, and Andrew Hill Newman. 2 years after the end of The Amanda Show, Dan Schneider created a new series, called Drake and Josh, featuring Bell, Josh Peck and Nancy Sullivan. Format: in spite of being designed as a sketch comedy television program, the series is set in a fictional universe in which it is broadcast as a popular television comedy, as evidenced through staged mishaps involving members of the studio audience, as well as comedic subplots involving Amanda's unhealthily obsessed, nerdy, self-proclaimed #1 fan Penelope Taint, who constantly devises schemes to achieve her lifelong goal of meeting Amanda. These failed schemes include Penelope's attempts at outsmarting the fictional security guard of the studio where The Amanda Show is filmed and at manipulating Amanda's castmates into helping her carry out her plans. Aside from this, the series is formatted as a typical sketch comedy, with recurring sketches as well as a few sketches only seen in one episode. The actors also play themselves in subplots during each episode. The sketches are often pop culture parodies or shorts featuring humorously odd or dim-witted characters. Recurring sketches, commercials or Euro episodes generally began with a parody advertisement for an absurd product. Examples include lunchbay.com, a eBay.com-type website where people sold their lunches, and Meatloaf Crunch, a meatloaf-themed cereal. Judge Trudy, a Euro parody of the courtroom show Judge Judy. The sketch stars Judge Trudy, a 13-year-old judge, and the bailiff, and features a child plaintiff suing an adult defendant for petty grievances, such as receiving detention or being told to please stop. Regardless of the merit of the defendant's case, Trudy always finds in favor of the child, if necessary inventing reasons to do so, and sentences the adult to an absurd punishment. Each Judge Trudy sketch typically involved 2 cases, and would end with Trudy saying, "Bring in the dancing lobsters." After which a group of people in lobster costumes would enter the courtroom and dance with the spectators. Blockbuster, a Euro parody of video rental store chain Blockbuster. The sketch involved customers trying to rent popular movies and instead ending up with ridiculous knockoff versions which were poorly acted out by the vaguely Eastern European family that owned the store. The Girls' Room, a Euro talk show that takes place in the girls' bathroom of Cloaca Junior High. The hosts are Amber, a conceited and self-professed popular girl. Sheila, an irritable tomboy. Tammy, an easygoing exchange student from Tennessee. And Debbie, a dim-witted girl whose catchphrase is "I like eggs." Totally Kyle, a Euro short sketch starring a stereotypical, laid-back hippie surfer named Cal Rostinson who tells vapid, nonsensical stories, usually beginning with the line "1 to me a Euro." This was the only recurring sketch lacking an appearance by Bynes and the only character from any Amanda Show skit to also appear on All That. Moody's Point, a Euro and over-the-top parody of teen dramas and soap operas from the late 90s to early 2000s like Dawson's Creek and Caitlin's Way. The segment is presented as a show within a show, and focuses on Moody Fallon, an emotionally exaggerated teen whose mother was lost in a tragic hot air balloon accident, and whose eccentric father struggles with losing a toe near the end of the series. At the end of the last episode, the screen showed the words "to be continued," but The Amanda Show was cancelled shortly thereafter, ending Moody's Point with a cliffhanger. Schneider had pitched an actual spin-off series called Moody's Point to Nickelodeon, but the show was never greenlit. Hillbilly Moment, a Euro 2 hillbillies named Lula May and Enos tell a knock-knock joke which always ends with Lula May hitting Enos over the head with the subject of the knock-knock joke. Penelope Taint, a Euro Penelope Taint is Amanda's self-proclaimed #1 fan. She runs a fan site, AmandaPlease.com, which is actually the official site created for the series. Between segments of an episode, Penelope is shown implementing a harebrained scheme to meet Amanda, often with the help of Bell, Josh Peck or her brother Preston. The gag is that Penelope can never succeed in meeting Amanda because she is played by Amanda, though she is at times exceedingly close to doing so. Mr. Oldman, an elderly widower who hates children, is a victim of constant prank phone calls from a curly-haired character named Amanda. Crazy Courtney, Courtney is a strange girl with large teeth, glasses, and a hat who speaks in incomplete sentences. When mad, she shouts "mah." She often drives people insane by putting on ridiculous schemes such as spraying shaving cream into people's faces or cutting people's hair in order to get the person to leave for her own reasons. The Dare Show, a show hosted by a girl named Sharon and her younger brother, Toby, who claim they will accept and perform any dare, but always renege on their promise when the disgusting and/or humiliating nature of the caller's dare becomes known. The caller then taunts them for this, after which Sharon or Toby cave, perform the dare, and say "I cannot believe I just did that." Cynthia Worthington, Cynthia Worthington is an aristocrat who was brought up by a very wealthy and civilized family. She appears nice, but engages in increasingly revolting behavior. At the end of the sketch she does an extremely disgusting thing, and the people around her leave in revulsion. She responds with, "How rude," and continues doing the disgusting thing. When Attack, a parody of dramatic crime documentaries, such as When Animals Attack. Bynes introduces herself as a ridiculous but apparently famous character, then explains how a certain group have been attacking people. Sketches ended with the attackers showing up in the studio. The Extremes, a sketch about the titular family of three taking normal tasks to an emotional extreme and exasperating everybody around them. Amanda's Jacuzzi, a talk show in which Amanda Bynes is in a jacuzzi with a guest who is either fictional, a famous, deceased historical figure, or a random character such as the Swiss guy. She asks them two normal questions about themselves, and then a ridiculous, nonsensical one. The puzzled guest replies no, and then Amanda asks, "How about a plate of spaghetti?" Dwarf waiters then serve Amanda and the guest spaghetti, and the guest usually says something silly but appropriate. King Henry VIII, for example, says "Long live the me." Mr. Gullible, a substitute teacher, is tricked into increasingly absurd tasks by his students. "So you want to win $5? A parody of the game show Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Hosted by Tina. The contestant, usually a character from another recurring skit on the show, who isn't very bright, is asked 3 questions, with the final question being worth $5. Stranded, a parody of the hit reality TV series Survivor. The contestants are stranded in a strange location in a certain state. The contestants, usually characters from other skits, were required to stay at the location and deal with one other. Whoever stayed the longest would win $1 million. The Klutz is a family whose members constantly trip and fall down shouting "Hup-dee-doo," often destroying things. After each incident, the family would say "Not a problem," even if it was, indeed, a problem. At the end of the sketch, the family typically does something to destroy the building or fall out of a window. Amanda Bynes, Drake Bell, Nancy Sullivan, and John Kassir portrayed the Klutzes. Tony Pajamas, Tony Pajamas is an Italian mobster. Sketches were parodies of the then-popular television series The Sopranos. Crime-fighting cheerleaders, the crime-fighting cheerleaders were a band of 3 high school cheerleaders named Katie, Stephanie, and Megan who arrested various criminals. Duper, a restaurant that serves disgusting food run by a man and his daughter Doreen. Melody and Thad, a music duo parodying Chad and Jeremy and Sonny and Cher who performed songs that were offensive and inappropriate for the occasion. Stop Motion Amanda, a stop-motion Amanda cartoon does wacky things, often with a pet dog named Scoop or Dumples. These sketches were discontinued beginning with episode 12. The animation was done by Tom Megalis. The Luckless is a family that always experiences horrible luck, including being struck by lightning or getting money stolen. Usually when something bad happens to them, someone in the family will say, "What are the odds of that?" And the father will say, "I don't know." The Dancing Lobsters. Two overgrown lobsters occasionally appear in any setting to dance at the end of a skit. They speak an odd lobster language. Marcy Stimple, an absent-minded girl played by Nancy Sullivan. She appears in So You Wanna Win $5 as a contestant, Cookie Duper as a customer, and Stranded, where she and other characters were stranded in a bathtub. Miss DeBoat, Janice DeBoat is a teacher with short black hair and horn-rimmed glasses who becomes the target of other characters such as Judge Trudy and Tony Pajamas, and was the teacher for students who have talents of which she does not approve. Episodes. Cast members: Amanda Bynes, herself, Penelope Taint, Judge Trudy, Bonnie Blocky, Amber, Doreen, Cynthia Worthington, Moody, Crazy Courtney, Candy Tulips, Katie Klutz, Lulu May, Cindy Extreme, Sharon, Melody, Mother Caboose, Babs Resselberg, People Place Owner, Drake Bell, himself, Carter Klutz, Carl Rostinson, Biscotti Blocky, Jeremy Pivers, Enos, Tony Pajamas, Toby, Thad, Nancy Sullivan, herself, Mrs. Klutz, Marcy Stimple, Mrs. DeBoat, Mrs. Rostinson, Mrs. Extreme, Various Raga Lee, herself, Sheila, Various, Johnny Kassir, himself, Carl Klutz, Mr. Rostinson, Gnocchi Blocky, Doreen's dad, Mr. Gullible, Various, Josh Peck, himself, The Dancing Lobster 2, Paulie, Various. Supporting cast members: Brian Ian, Various, E. Bell, Barney the security guard, Block, Greg Berger, announcer, Danny Bonaduce, customer, Mr. McOliver, Matthew Botuchis, Sternum, Ashley Edna, Rebecca Fiume, Various, Carey Idle, Moody's dad, Taylor Emerson, Preston Taint, Taryn Killam, Spalding, Maureen McCormick, Moody's mum, Lara Jill Miller, Kathy, Jenna Morrison, Debbie, Lunchbay.com Spokee Girl, Julie, Andrew Hill Newman, Mr. Gullible, Various Molly Orr, Misty Rains, Girl, Lauren Petty, Bree, Reagan Gomez Preston, Sheila, Dan Satchoff, Doreen's dad, Mr. Extreme, Dan Schneider, Mr. Oldman, announcer, Various Voices, Jamie Snow, Tammy, customer, Amy Drummel, Margie Finkus, Radley Watkins, Various, Gary Anthony Williams, Bailiff. Syndication. Reruns of The Amanda Show originally started airing on the N on October 31, 2007 and was dropped from the channel in March 2008, but then returned on April 4, 2009. All of the show's episodes aired. The Best of The Amanda Show also didn't air. The original TV rating was TVY7, but now the rating is TVG, like all of the other shows that aired on the former TNIC block on Nickelodeon. On August 3, 2009, The Amanda Show was dropped from the N once again. Starting July 11, 2011 on Nicktoons in the UK, it shows weekdays at 9 p.m. Some episodes have been missed from being broadcast on Nicktoons. As of the 18th of August 2011, the following episodes have been missed: Season 1, Episodes 3, 8, 11 and 12, Season 2, Episodes 3, 7 and 14, Season 3, Episodes 1, 2, 6 and 10. Reasons for these episodes not being shown are yet to be confirmed, although, The Amanda Show is to be repeated and so possibly, the missing episodes will be shown then. Nickelodeon Canada began airing the series on September 5, 2011 with the exception of Season 1 Episodes 8 and 12, and Season 3 Episode 11. The series was removed from the schedule in 2012. Reruns of The Amanda Show began airing on TNIC on October 11, 2011. Although it was originally announced as part of TNIC's 1990s block The 90s Are All That, the series instead aired as a standalone series during the daytime. The show then returned to TNIC on September 17, 2012 and aired in 2-hour blocks, until the show was removed again on March 17, 2013. Home releases. References. External links. Official website archived from the original on June 14, 2006, The Amanda Show at the Internet Movie Database, The Amanda Show at TV.com.